Mr. Baddog, are you ready for tonight?
Yeah, I think I'm ready to go. How about you?
I'm ready to go. Do me a favor, Baddog. Stand up, New York Giant fans! And we are back. We are live, Mr. Baddog. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. How you doing, my man? I swear to God, I don't see you for like 5 days. It feels like 5 months. I miss you.
I miss you too, man. This is going to be a great show because we got so much to talk about, whether it be Landon Collins, whether it be free agency, whether it be the draft. I mean, there's so much to talk about. Josh Rosen. I mean, there's a lot of topics we could talk about. Yes. Where do you want to start?
I think we got to start with Landon Collins. I think there's Giants fans and a lot of Giants fans in our chat. I think we have to discuss them letting Landon Collins walk, not tagging him and not trading him last year and just saying, here's your walking papers, buddy. Good luck. You know, don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you, my man.
Yeah, now we were talking before the show, and you said that there was I think it was CBS you said it?
CBS or Google, one of them.
There was a rumor out there that said we could have gotten, by the way, I just want to say hello to everybody. We forgot to do that. Blood Red Snake, MH, Gangrene, Bavith, Lawan, Goldquan, everybody in here. Thank you, everybody who tuned in, everyone who supports this show. But let's get right into it.
Thank you, guys. Skins Fan All Day is here. Rum Boys is in the house. Stuck in the 80s is here. Steven Timor, I can't say it. Timors. Noah KLS God Gaming. Afghanistan. Cameron Bell. Crazy Dog. MH Diehard Giants Fan. Watch him bleed. Caesar. Thank you all for being here. Really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Yes. But we were talking about that there was a rumor that was out there that basically said that Collins, they could have acquired a first-round pick for him, and you wanted to lay that to rest. I think they probably could have. Now, there was something I heard, I'm not sure exactly how it goes, where the Giants may still get a third-round pick for him. I'm not sure exactly how that works in next year's draft.
Yeah. So this is I did the Landon Collins video, and I was very surprised about the amount of Giants fans that agreed with me. That was shocking. Right. I mean, there's some thumbs downs on there, but most of the comments, I'd say 90 to 95% of the comments were like, I agree with you. Thank you for saying that he's overrated, because I feel the same way. But then I hear in there, I'm just mad. We could have got a first-round pick. We could have got – no. The Giants last year were looking for a third-round pick this year and a seventh-round pick in 2020. That was what they wanted for Landon Collins. They were not offered that, so they did not make the trade. There is no way in hell Dave Gettleman turns down a first-round pick for Landon Collins, even if they did this, unless they were absolutely, and if they were going to keep him, if they were going to take a first-round pick, they would have extended him already.
Right.
If they wouldn't have taken a first-round pick, especially with all the holes we have in this.
Of course.
That's a ridiculous rumor, and what that is set up to do is to make Landon Collins seem like he's worth more than he is. That's something that an agent puts out there as PR guy. One of those guys throws it out there to say, oh, my God, the Giants turned that. So he's worth a first-round pick. Well, we have to pay him more money because a lot of teams are going to be interested, which a lot of teams are going to be interested.
Right, because of his age and his athletic ability, and he's a hard hitter. We know what he brings to the table, but at the same time, he got exposed this year. And as Giants fans, we can't cry about it. At this point, I made my video today, so everybody knows the hole that we're in financially. Anybody that watched it, we're not going to have much to spend.
Nope.
And we are going to – this is going to be a 2-year process. Rome was not built in a day, and I think the Giants have to be diligent and not be stupid because next year I think they're going to have a ton of money to spend, but they have to do it smart. They can't take shortcuts, in my opinion.
I agree, and that's pretty much what I said in that Landon Collins video was, guys, we're trying to overcome 7 years of poor drafts. It's not going to happen immediately. You got to give them time. We got to be patient. And I know we're running out of patience. I am. I'm sick of losing. We've had a losing record 6 out of the last 7 years. All Giants fans are getting sick of it. I understand, but like you just said, Reese put us in a bad spot. We have no money to spend. And if we franchise Landon Collins, it's $11.5 million that we don't have. We only had, $27 million, you said?
That's before the draft. And yeah.
Before the draft. So that gives us like $17 million. So if we give him $11.5, we have $5.5 to play with. That's nothing.
And then obviously you can make cuts and stuff. But either way, you're playing with fire at that point. Yeah.
Like if we go out and draft Devin White, say, obviously Alec Ogletree's gone. And that'll save us $7 million.
I would cut him, yeah.
That's something. Now, Jeffrey said, sick of number 10, he needs a pay cut. And I agree. I think Eli Manning needs to restructure his contract and cut it in half.
Now, how would they go about doing that? I'm assuming what they would probably do is say, instead of 23 for 1, something along the lines of let's do 30 over 2, and then they'd probably cut him next year and he'd be released, or something along those lines, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Oh, and one other thing that you mentioned about the Landon Collins, how we get a compensatory pick. So from what I hear, from what I understand anyway, and again, I'm not. Oh, thank you so much for the super chat, QC. Really appreciate it, bro. Dilly, my man. I got one beer to drink.
I'm not the beers out on Friday, I promise.
Yeah, me too. There'll be a lot more than this. Friday, forget about it. Forget about it on Friday. So from what I gather, for the Giants to get a compensatory pick, they have to replace Landon Collins with somebody who is getting paid less than another team pays Landon Collins. So if Landon Collins goes out and gets $12 million a year from Indianapolis, and we pay Adrian Amos $9 million a year, we get the compensatory pick.
Well, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it then.
So we're gonna get it. So pretty much we're gonna get what we wanted, except we're not gonna get the extra 7th round pick. So letting him go made all the sense in the world. It really did.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think I still would have franchised, but I'm not upset about it. Let's put it that way. I know that he was not going to be a part of the future. I don't think he was going to be a Giant after this year, so I can't be that upset about it. Maybe they could have franchised him twice. Like I said, 11 and 14, because it's 120% raise. It's like a $12.5 million contract over 2 years rather than committing 5. But that's as far as it would have went. And at this point, the Giants just got to move on. And they got to find a safety in the draft, find one in free agency. That's what they got to do. That's all you can do. And next year, if we're being realistic, obviously it's football. Things can happen. Things can break right. But if we're being realistic going into next year, we're probably not going to be a playoff team. And I think it's I think in 2 years we could be very good. And it could set us up for 3 or 4 years of success. But we have to do it the right way.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. I mean, keeping Landon Collins here, what would that have accomplished? You know, Landon Collins is not the end-all, be-all of our defense being great. Our defense has been horrible even with him there. We're 5-11 and 3-13 last 2 years with him there. So if we're going forward, next year we're not set up to win it all. He's not going to be a big part of it. So we have to begin to get these other pieces in here so they can get acclimated to their teammates, get acclimated to the system. So thank you so much for the super chat, Trinity Boy, or Trixity Boy. Dilly, my man. Thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate it.
What's going on, Waterboy Report?
He says Burt Collins is here.
And Pumpkin's here, by the way. I always like saying hello to Pumpkin.
Waterboy Report's in the house. Go over there, show him some love if you get a chance. Great channel over there, Waterboy Report. The Italian Steins, he says. Yeah. Yes, we are. But, Again, I did that video on him. He's one of the and dude, I only looked at 18 safeties. That's all I could think of off the top of my head. I forgot Eddie Jackson, and he was the highest rated.
He's probably the best safety in football.
He was the highest rated, and I totally forgot about him.
Yeah.
But 18 safeties, the 3 guys I didn't put on the list that were lower were Eric Reed, Kenny Vaccaro, and Eric Berry. They were lower. Those are the 3 safeties I thought of that were actually ended up being lower.
And that's funny that you say Eric Berry. That just goes to show you. By the way, I think I should change this. No, whatever. You know what I look like. Eric Berry, you brought him up. He's the highest paid safety in football via free agency. So, I mean, I think it was an extension, whatever it was. But that goes to show you don't want to get guys after their first contract. And that's not how you build a successful franchise. You just said it. They're paying top dollar for a guy that's ranked in the bottom half of safeties in the league.
Yes. And his rating was like 62.5. It was horrible. I couldn't believe how bad he was. I was like, wow, because this guy was really good.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago. And Adrian Amos, a guy you like, and a guy that after you mentioned him, I went and looked and I was like, wow, he's really good. Like a couple of years ago, he was the second-rated safety in the league, and he fell off a little bit this year. Mm-hmm. But he's only 25 years old or whatever he is, and he'll cost a lot less.
Very good in coverage, very good tackle. He's exactly what the Giants need.
Right, a better all-around safety.
Yeah.
Landon Collins is half a safety. He can't cover. And I don't want to give a guy, like I said, $58 to $63 million for 5 years, which is probably what he's going to get for a guy that can't cover. He's a liability in coverage. He can't cover a running back. He can't cover a tight end. So what good? I mean, it's not worth paying him all that money. I'd rather have a guy that can cover than a safety I can send on a blitz. I don't need that. I need a safety to cover.
I'm gonna go back to what I've said in the past. I still think a guy like Landon Collins could work. I still would like a player like Landon Collins, a guy that you could do a lot of things with, but you need the other pieces on the defense. He gets exposed on this defense, and right now he's a liability because of that. I think if they got good coverage players, linebackers that could step back in coverage, he'd be better, but they're years away from that right now. They need to rebuild their entire defense.
I completely agree. And also, I think that he was better in Spagnuolo's system than he is in Betcher's system. And Betcher's going to be there now. So if he doesn't fit into Betcher's system, there's really no reason to have him there. And I think that's another reason that they let him go, because he just doesn't fit James Betcher's system. That's why he had the lowest PFF of his entire career this year, because of the system they have him play. Maybe he could have got better with it. Maybe he would have adapted to it, but it's not worth it to find out for, like I said, $12.5 million a year when we don't have any cap space. If we had the cap space, if we had the money the Jets have, or the money that the Colts have, or the Browns, or any of these teams that have $100 million, $80 million, then yeah.
And the great thing is, I was doing the math. I was looking at the cap next year. Next year, we're going to be the Colts. I mean, because what you think about it, $23 million from Eli gone.
Yep.
You cut Vernon. I think it's about a $3 million hit. So that's $17 million in savings.
Jenkins is another $11 million.
You cut him 11. So 11 plus 17 is 28, plus Eli's 23. You're already at 51, plus the cap is going to go up probably another 10.
Yep.
You're at 61, plus I'm sure Kareem Martin.
Kareem Martin, yeah.
You're going to have other guys. Alec Ogletree. They're going to be able to have, they're going to have probably $80 million to spend next year. So if they could continue to build the youth movement this year, build through the draft, get some more young players in here, next year is where you attack if you're the New York Giants.
I agree. So, again, I don't know. Again, I was very surprised when I did the video that many people agreed with me about Landon Collins. I was actually relieved to hear that, because I know a lot of guys love Landon Collins. But as I said in the video, I watch him every week, and I try to find what people are so in love with about this guy. Like, I'm like, okay, I know he hits hard, and I know he's a big safety, and I know he's had some good games, but like I said, he's half a safety. He can't cover anybody. He couldn't cover my mother. My mother could get a quick slant on Landon Collins. I mean, I have no faith in him making a play. And like I said, ever since that game against the Rams in 2017, I am so down on him because he quit. I saw him quit. I saw him do it.
Right.
And I don't like that.
The entire team quit that year. I mean, Snacks did. Everybody did.
That's why they're all one.
Yeah, that's what. There you go. You got a super chat right there.
Thank you so much for the super chat, Asia. She says, "Stand up, Chris and Baddog, Dilly."
Dilly.
Oh, Yankees, of course. Asia, let's go Yankees. Always got to put that.
Asia, you work at Citi Field. I'm still going to convince you to be a Met fan. But anyway,
never convinced.
Let's get back to the football talk. All right, so we talked about Collins in extensive detail. One thing I want to get out of the way, because it's a rumor, and I've thought about it, and I think it could make sense under the right circumstances. And I know you don't like him, and I don't really like him either. But Josh Rosen. What's your take on this rumor? Is there any way where you think it makes sense?
Not for number 6 overall. Thank you so much for the super chat, Detonator. Dilly, my man. He says, I love you guys so much, but go Jets and Yankees. Half of that I agree with, Detonator, but Dilly, my man.
I don't agree with either one, Detonator, but I still love you. Oh, there you go.
Thank Jeffrey. Thank you so much for the super chat, brother. Dilly, my man. Best Giants YouTube duo ever.
We appreciate
really appreciate that,
Jeffrey is such a great. Tunes in every one of our videos, every one of our live streams, and you can tell from the comments how much of an educated, diehard fan he is. I really respect everything that Jeffrey does for the whole.
I do too. Like I said, he was so down on Kyler Murray, and I said, dude, go back and check him, do this, and every time I asked him to do something, he did it. And every time he come back and goes, you know what, Baddog, you're right. He has a strong arm. You know what, Baddog, you're right. I watched 3 hours of film on him, and he is a pocket passer. So the fact that Jeffrey will go out of his way. If I say, check it out, he'll go and actually look and say, you know what, let me check. Baddog says, let me check, man. Let me see if I'm in. A couple times he's come back and said, you're right. I'm in on Kyler Murray now. I'll take Murray or Haskins, where before Jeffrey was like, I want no part of Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
Once he looked in and we said, you know what, Baddog's right about this guy. So I wouldn't be upset with Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
But to get back to the Josh Rosen thing, not for number 6 overall.
No, I'm with you on that. I'm not
definitely not.
Let me give you a hypothetical. Say they come to us, they say, you keep your 6. We're going to give you Josh Rosen for this year's 2nd and next year's 2nd. Do you do
it? Man.
Now think of all the... Now, I just want to give you the scenario to think it out. Basically, what you're doing is you're still getting your premium defensive player in this year's draft rather than having to use that on Haskins. We'll just say hypothetically. You get that, by the way.
Thank you so much, Sperm Cell. Dilly, bro. He says, you guys are hardworking. Best. The rest of it, dilly, bro.
So, but I'll break it down real quick. Basically, you're getting, it's essentially what it is. And I'm not saying, some people are going to prefer Haskins. I like Haskins. And I was not in love with Rosen last year. but I still think Rosen is a talented quarterback. I don't think he had the surrounding pieces, and maybe he could be successful here. He certainly has the arm strength to play well here. I'm not worried about that with him. But basically what you'd be doing is you'd be getting Haskins if you're... Some people think they're about equal. So you'd be getting Haskins in the second round because you're trading that pick and giving up a second-round pick and still having that first-round pick to go out there and get a Devin White, get a whoever you want, a premium defensive player in that scenario. So that's why I think it's interesting. Even though neither one of us are big fans of his, you have to admit at least he has talent.
The one thing that worries me about Rosen more than anything else, he's obviously talented. He wouldn't have went top 10. The Cardinals wouldn't have traded up for this guy if there wasn't some kind of talent there. And I think that's pretty obvious that they saw something in him and said, and a lot of people had him going top 5. A lot of people had him maybe being the first quarterback.
A lot of people had him going number 1 overall.
That's what I'm saying. They had him going, So obviously they saw something in him. He's got the talent to play this level. I worry more about his attitude in New York.
That's what I worry about too.
Can an arrogant guy like Woody clash with the media? You don't want to get on the media's bad side in New York. You and I know that. We're New York guys. We understand that New York media is very harsh. And if you don't give them what they want, they're going to get all over you. I mean, and it depends on how you handle it. Eli Manning takes a bunch of crap from the New York media. No, I've never seen the New York media beat down a player and insult and disrespect a player more than Eli Manning. They do it all the time. Yep. It's nothing but
it's the fans too. It's not just the media. It's the fans too. His whole career. I mean, the national and local media. Yeah.
Right, but the media is in his face all the time, and Eli just shrugs it off like. And
not everybody could do that.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. If you got Josh Rosen, can Josh Rosen take? The media, the fans, you suck. You're no good. Get out of here. You're garbage. You're a bum. We don't like you. You lost this game. You're worthless. We want somebody else in here. We're sick and tired of your face. Get out of here. Can he take that?
I had the same exact mindset during the draft last year, and that's why last year I didn't want them to take. But when I think about it, and I still like Haskins. I've been on record of saying I've liked Haskins for 3 months. But when I take a step back and think about it, if that hypothetical trade came to us, it would be hard to turn it down. Because now you're still getting a really good defensive player and you're getting your future quarterback.
It is because you got pretty much essentially you got a top 10 quarterback for a second round pick.
Right.
Like you said, you got your Haskins for a second round pick. So hypothetically, I don't know if I'd give up 2 seconds. Maybe a second and a fourth. I don't know if I'd want to give up 2 seconds because I think you mentioned this. Maybe you didn't. Maybe I read it somewhere else. Arizona's got no leverage. None
at all.
They have no leverage because if they want Kyler Murray, they're going to have to get rid of Josh Rosen. And if they don't, they're either not going to be able to take Kyler Murray. Thank you so much for the Super Chat Detonator. Dilly, my man. He says Rosen has a lot of upside. Yes, he does have a lot of upside. But, again, the Cardinals have got no leverage with this guy. And if they don't
their only leverage is the teams that need a quarterback. And when you think about it, the Jaguars are going to have Foles now. The Broncos have Flacco. They could want Rosen, though. I won't rule them out. The Dolphins, everyone seems to think are trying to tank for next year to get Tua, but who knows with them. The Bengals could possibly want a quarterback, and the Redskins. So those would be the potential suitors. But the Giants, I think, would hold the keys to the castle because they have the highest pick, unless those teams are willing to give up a first-round pick. The Giants would have the highest second-round pick. Now, the Redskins may be willing to give up number 15. The Dolphins may be willing to give up number 13. So, if they're willing to do that, you let Rosen go there, because I'm not giving up number 6.
Right. And the thing is, if they do go there, like if the Giants take him, all of a sudden there's a bunch of other quarterbacks that fall to Miami, that fall to Washington. So, who knows? I mean, Washington, I keep hearing Daniel Jones of Washington. I hear, a lot of talk about Miami. I forgot what quarterback I heard going there. But, if one of these teams are off the table, again, it just gives them less leverage. Right. And, I mean, Josh Rosen, again, we do have the highest second-round pick. So, it'd be a tough call. I mean, because you do get a quarterback. But thank you so much for the Super Chat, Kid Blue. Dilly, my man. Great channel over there, by the way, guys. Go check him. I did a great job last night with him and his cousin on their live stream.
I'll tell you, that live stream is terrific. Keep doing what you're doing, Kid Blue. That thing is going to blow up. And I'd like to be a guest on that one day, Kid Blue. Absolutely. If you want to have me on, I would love to come on.
He says 90+ viewers. This show is booming. Yes, thank you, man. We appreciate everybody here, man, so much. So thank you guys.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm a Kyler Murray guy, and I'd take Dwayne Haskins, but other than that, I think Josh Rosen is better than Daniel Jones. I think Josh Rosen's better than Drew Lock. None of these other quarterbacks really impressed me at the combine at all.
Yeah, a lot of people like Drew Lock, and I tried to go in. I like Jones going in. I'll be the first to tell you I want no part of Jones now. I thought he had a horrible combine. And Lock, I tried to go in with an open mind. I thought he looked very good on the short and intermediate throws, but I was expecting a Josh Allen-like performance, and it was a big letdown. It's like when you go in to see a movie, and you're expecting it to be like this unbelievable movie, because everybody talked about his golden arm, and it was underwhelming. It wasn't. I didn't see it. He didn't look at Haskins threw a better deep ball.
Right. And Haskins threw a great deep ball. And if you can't throw a deep ball indoors, you ain't throwing a deep ball in the middle of the winter in MetLife Stadium.
Right.
It's not happening. By the way, guys, real quick, if anybody has not done so, if you're new to the channel, please hit that thumbs up for me, hit that big red button, and go into the description, click on the link to the Entertainah's channel, click on his link, show him some love, hit his big red button, ring his bell. He likes when you do that.
I like when you ring the bell.
So please make sure you guys are checking out his channel, show him some love, and join his family over there.
Appreciate that.
But, I was with you. I thought Drew Lock had a really bad combine throwing the ball deep. And like I said, if you can't throw the ball deep accurately in a controlled environment when the winds are whipping around 20 to 25 miles an hour and it's 18 degrees, you're obviously going to be even more inaccurate. The Meadowlands or MetLife Stadium, it's a very tough place to throw a football. It always has been.
Now let's get to your boyfriend, Kyler Murray. We all know you love. We all know you love Kyler Murray.
Yes, I do.
Let's get to what I didn't get a chance to make. You obviously just released a video, so I haven't got.
I destroyed that guy.
Yeah. Let's get to that. Now that obviously was a port that casually. Oh, there you go. Get that.
I missed it. Oh, there it is. Jay Zach, thank you so much for the super chat, brother. Dilly, my man. He says, this is great, y'all. Keep this up. We do it every week, Jay Zach.
He's got a channel, by the way, too. He just started. I talked to him today, so go check that out. He's a Giants fan.
So, yeah, we do this every week. We alternate channels. So, thank you very much. I really do appreciate it, my man.
But what I was going to get to about Kyler Murray, your boyfriend, is now the reports that came out from Casserly was that he was very bad on the chalkboard, I guess, at reading the plays and whatever, breaking down defenses. And what's your take on that? I didn't get to watch the video yet. Now, and the other thing I want to get your answer on is, what did you think about him not competing at the Combine? Do you think that will hurt his draft stock if Arizona does not take him number 1 overall? Because if they take him number 1 overall, it doesn't matter. But if they don't, do you think he could drop in the draft now because he didn't compete at the Combine and now this report coming out about how he didn't read defense as well?
The biggest thing about, who said that he didn't read defense as well?
Well,
Charlie Casserly, no. Charlie Casserly doesn't say. Charlie Casserly is incredibly vague in everything he says.
Right.
Oh, he's horrible. His interview was horrible. He said this, he said that. But
yeah. He may have. But I'm saying that's how it's being portrayed. Let's put it that way.
Right. Yeah. So what that is, and I mentioned this at the end of my video, that's gamesmanship, man. You don't think, say the Giants want Kyler Murray, and they want him bad. Say that's their guy they want to target, and they don't want to trade up. And Arizona's saying, there's all these rumors Arizona's going to take him number 1. Just say, number 1, number 3, wherever he's going. So the Giants want to put it out there. He was terrible in the interview. He was terrible on the chalkboard. We don't like this guy. We're disinterested in him. That maybe somehow other teams start thinking, well, geez, if these are out there that he's really not good, maybe we missed something. Maybe we need to go back and look at it. Maybe he can't do this. Maybe he can't. And his draft stock falls.
Right.
And the team can say, bang, we got him. Because we wanted him the whole time, but we put that negative energy out there trying to get teams to get off of him, so he drops and we get the guy we want. It happens every year that teams will lie.
Well, people were knocking Baker last year. Some of it was deserved, some of his nonsense on the field, but people were knocking. You're right. The media knocks players, and sometimes it's deserved. We see it with Odell all the time. Now, we always say that sometimes Odell deserves the criticism that he gets, but sometimes the media goes above and beyond. They target specific players. They always have. They always will.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. I just want to get your take. I'm curious to see how he does at the Pro Day, but none of it's going to matter if this holds up with Kingsbury saying. Now, I don't know if I believe it or not, but everything you're reading now, it sounds like they are going to go through with this. And to me, it is asinine. It's nothing against Kyler Murray. It's everything to do with what they did last year. The general manager trades up to get Josh Rosen. So he wastes, I don't remember what the trade was, but he wasted draft picks to go up and get Josh Rosen. And then the same general manager who did that hires a coach the next year that doesn't want Josh Rosen as his quarterback. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. They are a backwards organization.
Yeah, that's why they lose every year. But I said this. I said if that guy actually goes out and drafts Kyler Murray, he should lose his job like that. You don't trade up from 15 to 10, give up a 3rd and a 7th round pick to get your future quarterback, and then the very next year take your number 1 pick and get rid of your top 10 draft pick. I cannot.
Basically, they threw away a 1st, a 3rd, and a 7th, and now wasting the number 1 overall pick on a quarterback where they're going to pay him probably $2 or $3 million more per year than they would have been paying Rosen because of where he's being drafted in the draft slot. It is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Yes. And the general manager had all the control over this because he hired this coach.
That's what I'm saying. So the general manager should be fired. And let me tell you something. Josh Rosen didn't look good last year. Josh Rosen is not the sole reason that team is 3-13. They stink. You need other players there.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I forgot what I was going to say. They're not a good organization. But you give up all that, and for what? And again, it's asinine. Oh, I know what I was going to say. It's probably never been done in the history of the NFL. I don't know. I didn't look it up. I can't imagine.
How could it have ever been done in the history of the NFL? I could never remember that. You're giving up a 22-year-old quarterback. You're giving up a guy that was supposed to be an upper echelon starting quarterback in the league. You give him 1 year with the team that they have surrounding him. It's ridiculous.
Right. I'm saying I can't imagine in the history of the NFL a team ever picked a quarterback top 10 in the draft and the next year drafted a quarterback in the top 10 again. I can't imagine that ever happened, let alone number 1. Yeah. So it's just asinine. Like I said, that guy should lose his job because what the hell are you doing? You wasted an entire draft for no reason, and you had a horrible season, and you have an opportunity to get a game changer into Nick Bosa or a Josh Allen or a Quinnen Williams. You got a chance to do something on your defensive line, and you're going to go out and you've already got your future quarterback that you traded up to get last year, and you're going to say, to hell with you after 1 year. We're going to bring in another quarterback.
And to me, you look back at the course of history, coaches in the NFL that are system coaches that need specific players to run their out rarely works. Look at Chip Kelly. Everybody, when he first came in, this offense from Oregon, this is going to work. Didn't work too well, Baddog. I think you know that. And I think Arizona is in big trouble right now. I do not like where that organization is headed at all.
Me neither. It's just stupid. I agree. It doesn't have anything to do with Kyler Murray, but it has to do with the fact that this is not
a knock on Murray at all. It's all about how they're running the organization. It's crazy.
Right.
If you really want Murray, I guess trade down. I don't know what you should do, but they should have never hired this coach because they already had a quarterback in place. It makes no sense to me.
It was an interesting hire to begin with, taking Cliff Kingsbury. Yeah, it's a hard one to say. Cliff Kingsbury is Texas Tech guy, so he knows about Kyler Murray. Anyway, not that he played it, not that he was there. I don't think he was there last. I don't think he
started his career there, right? Murray started at Texas Tech, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So he knows, or was it Texas or A&M? I always get them confused.
Oh, maybe. Well, I
think it was A&M. I think he started at A&M, but. Kingsbury knows. I mean, he's a Big 12 guy, so he knows what's there. And I don't care though. That's very strange. You don't do that. You don't give up on a quarterback after 1 year. I don't care what he did.
Right.
After 1 year, you can't give up on him.
No, it's crazy.
It was A&M. That's what I thought. So.
That's right. Mayfield started at Tech.
Yes.
Yes. And then the other thing I wanted to get into, free agency's coming up in a week. And that's going to be crazy. But I unfortunately, I don't think our Giants are going to have a lot of action. And for weeks I've been saying, and the media has been saying, that more than likely the Giants will go out there and get Darrell Williams, the former tackle that Gettleman drafted of Carolina, Pro Bowl in 2017. Now, when I look back at it, and I looked at the draft, I said to myself, this may not be the smartest decision, because if we only have, we'll say they could free up $25 million by doing whatever they do, maneuver in the roster. There's a lot of good offensive linemen that are going to be there in the second round, early second round when the Giants pick. Dalton Risner probably being one of them. He didn't have the best combine. A lot of people like him as a potential leader for a football team. That's just one off the top of my head. Bradbury's another one who had a really good combine who could potentially be there. So there's a few linemen that are going to be there in the second round where they could do exactly what they did last year with Hernandez. So it may not be the smartest decision to spend almost half of their available cap space on Darrell Williams when I really thought about it.
That's true, because you could get a guy to replace him that's going to cost peanuts.
Right.
As opposed to a guy that might cost whatever he's going to get, $8 million a year, $9 million a year. So I agree with you. I mean, I think if the Giants do some research and think that they can get a lineman in the second round, it might not be a bad idea. But we've also talked about Deontay Thompson and them trading back up into the first round to get a safety because now they got rid of Landon Collins.
Right.
So, I mean, if you want to do that, then you would have to give Darrell Williams the money.
Well, I guess the question that you got to ask yourself is, who's worth paying $9 or $10 million more, Darrell Williams or go get an Amos? Who would you rather give the money to? That's what it's going to come down to.
Yeah. So whatever you think is better, whatever you think position's better in the draft that you can get in the second round. If you think the linemen are better than the safeties by the time you pick, obviously, then you hold off. You sign an Amos and you draft your lineman. If you think the safety's better, if you think the safety's better, then you sign Darrell Williams and you draft a safety. So. It'll thank you so much for the super chat, Ligma. Really appreciate it. Dilly. He says Ryan Finley in the fourth round going Yankees. I don't like Ryan Finley.
He did have a really good combine. I will say that.
I don't like him though.
Yeah, I thought he had a really good combine, but I'm with you. I don't want to be wasting fourth round picks on quarterbacks.
Because we did it last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing, do you really think that Ryan Finley's like the future? I don't think you can get. I mean, it happens. Dak Prescott, fourth round pick. Brady, sixth round pick. I mean,
Wilson,
rare.
Third round pick. Wilson. Yeah.
It's rare, right? Russell Wilson. It's rare that you get your franchise quarterback that late in the draft. Usually, they are your first round guys. So, I don't know. I think if we're going to take a quarterback, Ligma, we're going to take him at 6.
Yeah, in this draft, I agree. I think it'll be in the first round, unless it's Rosen, unless they trade for Rosen.
Right.
Yeah, which would be like taking him in the second. But another guy that I saw when I was looking, a safety. Jonathan Abram, when I looked at it, he's a guy we could potentially take in the second round. Take a look at this guy? He is very much like Landon Collins. He's a big play safety. I could see the Giants targeting him where they wouldn't have to trade up. A lot of people like him. He's a little undersized. He's about 5'11", 6 foot, but I do like Jonathan Abram too. So anybody that's not looked at him, take a look at him. That's a potential second round target for the Giants.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, there's been some undersized safeties that, as long as you knock the taste out of their mouth, it really don't matter how tall you are. I mean, you don't need to be a really tall safety. I mean, how tall is Dawkins? I always thought Dawkins was shorter.
He was probably about that size, 5'11".
But just jacked up. So he'd kill you. So you can definitely play at 5'10", 5'11", 6 foot as a safety.
Who do you think was the hardest hitting safety? You think it was him? Like in modern day?
Atwater.
Atwater was bad. What about
Steve
Lynch?
Atwater? I never saw a hit in my life like he did when he totally knocked Christian Okoye on his ass. Yeah, nobody could tackle the Nigerian Nightmare. Atwater came up and just knocked him weak, knocked him out. Never saw it. Atwater killed people.
What about
he was
Lynch?
my favorite safety. I loved Steve Atwater.
What about John Lynch?
I think Dawkins hit harder than John Lynch.
Yeah, Ronnie Lott's another one.
Right, yeah, Ronnie Lott was Ronnie Lott could knock the taste out of your mouth. Yeah, that was another big. He was a beast.
Yeah. Those are some of the good ones I could think of off the top of my head. Sean Taylor, Clinton Dix is a free agent. We could take a look at him. That's another guy with high upside. It's gonna be. I'm really excited, and I'm gonna have extensive coverage of that because I'm off that day. So I will have a lot of videos up that day. Not all Giants related, obviously. And then we're gonna have our show on the 13th on my channel. That show is gonna be terrific. And then the following week, I'm sure we'll recap even more free agent moves because they're not all going to happen on the 13th. So a lot of exciting things coming up.
The next week or two.
Yeah, and then of course the draft and post-draft and everything else. A lot of good stuff coming up for the Giants. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be exciting to see exactly what direction we go in. I mean, I'm very excited to see what the hell we do with the number 6 pick, which is going to bring me into my next point here. The Combine, obviously, a lot of guys stood out. There was a couple guys I was incredibly impressed with that, kind of knew about before the draft, like a DK Metcalf. Now, I went into the draft thinking Hollywood Brown was the best.
Not anymore.
Yeah, I thought Hollywood Brown would have been the best receiver.
Yeah.
Now, he didn't partake in the Combine because he has an ankle injury. He's had it since the end of the last season. But a dude that is the size of Julio Jones running a 4.334, that is absolutely stupid. That is dumb. This guy is the size of Megatron.
1.6% body fat.
It's dumb. He's not human. That is not a human being. I don't know what the hell species he is. He's not human.
Yeah.
I was just like, my God, this guy. I mean, he impressed the hell out of me. I'm like, somebody's going to get lucky to pull that guy. And someone's going to be very happy with Hollywood Brown, too, because he can play. That kid can play, but he doesn't have the size.
I really think Metcalf goes to the Jaguars. I'd be surprised if they don't take him, because they're going to – oh, there you go. Get that.
Yep. Dilly Sports Street, thank you so much for the super chat, brother. Really appreciate it. He says, great show, guys. By the way, I hope we keep Adrian Amos. If you all do get him, he'd be great for you guys. He's still developing. Yes, Sports. Yeah, Josh. I mean, this is a couple – like I said, Chris mentioned him first. I went and took a look at him. I said, I'm completely on board with him. I think he's a really good overall safety, and I think he's getting better. He had an incredible 2017, so I think that he would be a good fit for us. So thank you so much for the super chat. And again, thank you for everything you do for our channel, man. We really appreciate it.
Those guys are the best, and we're going to be with them in 3 weeks about, right?
Yes. Yeah. March 30th, the Dream Team Dream Stream. You guys will not want to miss it.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. But what were we just talking about? I just got thrown off there.
We're talking about the combine and DK Metcalf.
DK Metcalf, in my opinion, the lowest he's going to go is 9 to Buffalo. When I did my initial mock draft, I had him going, I think, in the 20s. But after that combine, what that guy showed, that guy is a stud. Now, do you think there's any chance he could go in the top 5? Because that would be beneficial to the Giants.
I'm trying to think. I can't. I mean, if he was going to win the top 5, Oakland. I can't see it. He's not going to Arizona.
Yeah.
He's not going to San Francisco. Well, he could go to San Francisco.
That's a reach.
He could also go to the Jets.
Ooh.
The Jets don't have a big play receiver. They have a very young quarterback. They have a ton of money. So they could go out and they could get linemen to protect Sam Darnold. They could go out and get Le'Veon Bell if they wanted. They could get linemen, Le'Veon Bell, and draft DK Metcalf. Then that offense becomes incredibly dangerous. Right. If you can get Sam Darnold, the DK Metcalf, and now all of a sudden the Jets have a deep threat to go with the Quincy Enunwa, and you get a Le'Veon Bell,
and they got that good young tight end. I forgot his name.
Oh, and Robbie Anderson.
And Robbie Anderson, yeah.
So that team all of a sudden becomes extremely dangerous, and you've built a ton around Sam Darnold. So if DK Metcalf goes in the top 5, the Jets are probably the team that I think would take him. I think he makes the most sense for the Jets.
What about the Raiders, though? They lost Cooper.
Tampa don't know what the hell they're doing, though.
Tampa makes no sense. Tampa makes no sense because they have weapons already.
Yeah, they have Mike Evans, and so I can't see him going to Tampa. But I don't the Raiders need so much.
Yeah, so do
I don't know what they would do. I don't know much about their roster. They got rid of half their roster, and I don't even know who the hell is over there anymore. So, but I think, like I said, the Jets pick before the Raiders. I actually think DK Metcalf makes a lot of sense going to the Jets. I think it would be a good move for the Jets because they got the money.
So you would take, if you were the Jets, if you were McCagnon, you would take Metcalf over Josh Allen?
No. I'm saying you said could he go top 5, and I'm saying if he went top 5, the Jets are the team. I think Metcalf.
Well, but if the Jets were taking him, they'd be taking him over Josh Allen, probably.
It depends on what the Jets are looking for. I don't know how great the Jets defense wasn't that bad last year.
Yeah, they need a pass rusher though.
Everybody needs that.
Yeah, you're right.
Everybody.
You're right.
I don't know.
The Jets could trade down too and get Metcalf.
Yeah.
They could trade down to say 6 with the Giants and
they can do it. Thank you so much for the super chat, Entertainah. He says, "Don't forget about our tight end, Chris Herndon." Yes, Chris mentioned him. Dilly, my man.
Dilly.
This will not be Empty Friday, I promise you. But thank you so much for the super chat. So yeah, I think DK Metcalf to the Jets would be very interesting. I think it would work. I think the Jets' offense becomes extremely dangerous. Like I said, they have money for Le'Veon Bell. They have money for alignment, and you add that receiver to that team already. They could be really good. I mean, that offense could be great.
Yeah. What do you think? Who do you think on the Giants defense right now could have a big year next year? Like, do you think Lorenzo Carter could morph into a really good pass rusher next year? Or do you think he's still a year or two away? Like, who's going to become the new leader of this defense? Obviously, it could be the guy they draft if they take a Devin White, which you were so impressed with.
That was the next guy I was going to get to.
And I was too. Devin White, I mean, that guy, and I know he's not a finished product. He's still a little raw. He came in as a running back, but that guy has everything you need. He's a little undersized, I guess, but everything you could want in the middle linebacker. That guy is an animal, Baddog.
Yeah, the combine, it wasn't just his 40 speed, which was just stupid. You see the size of that guy? How the hell do guys that fast run guys that big run as fast as trains? You look like a damn train. The guy he's a freak. And just watching him go through the drills, how fast he changed direction and all. I mean, my God, I fell in love with the guy.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going, to hell with the quarterback. Give me Devin White. I don't care. Give me Devin White. I want Devin White. I was like, you know what? Kyler Murray's going to go number 1. I want Devin White on this team. I'm like, I hope Murray and Haskins both go before the Giants, and we'd get Devin White. Because I'm like, I don't want any second guessing. I don't want them to say, well, we should take a quarterback like they did last year. We should take a quarterback. I don't want to second guess. Get those 2 guys out the board so Devin White falls to us. I'd be so happy with that. I was impressed. I mean, just watching his passion, his emotion when he ran that speed, how he got all emotional, he got choked up. I want that kid. I think he
and he seems like a really good kid. He's got the whole thing where I don't know if you knew this. He like collects horses. He rides horses and stuff.
Yes.
He just seems like a really like genuinely good guy. And everything I've read about this guy. I mean, I remember when I was doing my draft preview video and I found out that like he was in the locker studying film hours before the coaches would even get there. He's supposed to be this great teammate, great leader. He'd know the plays before they were going to happen. Very intelligent. He is going to be a superstar middle linebacker.
He is.
That would be a good guy to plug in for the next 10 to 12 years.
I would love to have him. And Carter on the outside. I mean, I think Lorenzo Carter can be a great pass rusher. Look, I said this when we drafted him. I asked Uncle Lou, who knows everything Georgia. Any time we get a Bulldog on the Giants, or any time I think we're going to draft one, I ask Uncle Lou, what do you think? Because Uncle Lou knows everything about Georgia football. He's my go-to. He said Lorenzo Carter is a 7 and with the capability of being a 10. That's how good Lorenzo Carter could be. So it was a great draft pick for you guys in the 3rd round. He's got all the potential in the world to be a 10.
Yeah.
As far as linebacker.
Well, I don't remember what the 40 time was last year, but I remember seeing it, and I remember saying, we got to draft that guy. He had a great combine last year.
Yeah. And when he was in there, he needed to play more. I don't know why we didn't, but I think that he could definitely have a breakout season. And, of course, B.J. Hill had an amazing rookie season.
Yeah.
So,
Gettleman drafted great last year. The free agents, not so much, but the draft, he was very good.
He did a very good job in the draft.
Yeah.
The free agents, I mean, what can you do? I mean, we had a bunch of holes. We had to fill. We needed a left tackle. He went out and got the best one available. I mean, it is what it is. There's nothing he could do about it. It was better than having Eric Flowers start over there again.
Well, of course.
And they tried moving him to right tackle, and that didn't work either.
Well, I was leaning more towards Stewart, which was that was a bit of a mistake.
Again, I think the whole Stewart thing was more for mentorship.
Yeah.
I think that was more for Saquon Barkley than anything else. I really do. I think he brought Jonathan Stewart in here for the leadership role to kind of take Saquon Barkley under his wing, to teach him the ropes, because Jonathan Stewart was always a consummate professional, a really good teammate. I think that's kind of what Witten could have been had he not. I don't know why he retired and came back. I mean, that's kind of what Witten was at the end of his career. Now Witten's coming back. Just make him a coach, Right. But I think that's kind of what Jonathan Stewart was there for. I really don't think he was ever there to really be part of the running game. I don't think he was going to unseat Wayne Gallman at number 2, and I do. I think that was part of it. So Nate Solder started to play better at the end of the year. Alec Ogletree obviously did not have a good year. Curtis Riley was disgraceful. He's a free agent, right?
Curtis Riley, I didn't see him on the. Now that you mention him, I didn't see him on the list.
We don't have
to worry about him. Michael Thomas is the safety they have on the contract for $2 million.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see where it goes. But I was just thinking of something you were talking about. I forgot. But we should get to the chat. See if there's any questions.
Let's get to the
We've been talking a lot. This has been a great show.
Yes.
Any questions? You guys shout them out. Pat Omame couldn't even be. Oh, Pat Omame was another really bad signing.
Yes.
Yeah, Jeffrey Abbey.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And again, guys, if you happen to be new to the channel, please hit that thumbs up for me. Bang that big red button and join the old Baddog family. And please go into the description, click on the link to the Entertainah Talking Sports. It's the first thing on my link. Click on, or in the description, click on it, go to his channel, hit his big red button, ring the bells, and check us out. Join his family, man. This guy does great freaking work. He's done a bunch of mock drafts. He's been working his ass off. It's fantastic. The guy's the man.
Same with you.
There's great content out there. Check him out. You guys will not be disappointed.
Same with you. I really appreciate that. Let's see if we got questions here. Yes, thumbs up. We appreciate that, Jeffrey. Abby, please shout out.
Odell is traded. No.
Do you think Odell is traded? Now, that was something we could have talked about. There's still rumors, but there's always going to be rumors with Odell. I'd be surprised. I'm never going to rule it out, but I would be surprised.
Yeah. Oh, I can't see it happening. Yeah. Unless somebody blows us away. It's just like last year.
It's got to be like the 49ers.
You got to give us 2 first-round picks, and they got to be early. Not giving them up for a 30th pick, not giving them up for a 25th pick. You want to get Odell Beckham, you're giving me your number 4 overall pick. You're giving me your number 2 overall pick. You're giving that. That's what you're giving.
Karen Singh says...
and MH just loves to give it to me about Kyler Murray. I freaking love MH. He's one of my favorite types. He just loves to needle me all the time.
And he just started a channel, by the way, MH.
I know.
Yeah.
I did. I checked out. Great moss.
Yeah. His moss makes.
We'll talk more about that on Friday.
I love the moss over there.
The moss.
But Karen Singh said, "How about Earl Thomas at safety?" Earl Thomas, first off, we've said now for weeks, age and injuries. But if you even ignore that, they have no money for him. They have no money to sign Earl Thomas. He would take up almost everything that they're going to have, even if they make some adjustments by taking money off from Eli Manning or cutting Vernon. Earl Thomas is not in the cards, and if he is, it would be a very bad decision by Gettleman.
Awful. He's coming off a serious leg injury. He's 30 years old.
Yeah.
You're better off signing an Amos who's 25. You're better off even signing a Tyrann Mathieu or a LaMarcus Joyner. You're better off with those guys than Earl Thomas, because Earl Thomas is going to command the biggest price. And if we were going to sign Earl Thomas, you might as well have kept Landon Collins.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how I think about that there.
And trade value of Curtis Riley. Well, I think it's
a free agent.
Yeah, but even if he was on the roster, maybe you get that Burt doll behind Baddog. That's probably
hell no. Burt is better than Curtis Riley. You might get this bottle cap. I'll give you 2 bottle caps and a pen cap.
Yeah, but at least the bottle caps don't commit penalties, so they're probably better than Curtis Riley, right?
True, it's true. They cover the same too.
Yeah. How do you feel about Dave Gettleman? Do you agree with his decision? What decision specifically? Are you talking about overall decisions? Or are you talking about the Landon Collins? If it's the Landon Collins thing, Baddog is fully on board with letting Collins go. He's been saying that for months. I would have franchised him. But I'm not going to, scream at the top of my lungs because they didn't. I recognize that he was going to be replaced in the near future anyway. So maybe they just decided it's time to move on now.
Yeah. No, I definitely... almost every decision Gettleman's made, I would have said the same thing. Everything Gettleman's done, I've wanted him to do before he did it. I wanted JPP out of here. He got him out of here. I wanted Eric Flowers at the right side. They moved him over there. It didn't work. I said, get him the hell out of here. Get Eli Apple the hell out of here. He got them both out of here. I wanted him to sign Alec Ogletree. He did it, and that failed. So it just didn't work. But it's almost like everything I wanted him to do, he's done. And I did not want Landon Collins back on this team. And he's not back on the team.
I
wanted him to draft Saquon Barkley. He drafted Saquon Barkley. I wanted him to draft Will Hernandez. He drafted Will Hernandez. So
Lorenzo Carter. Drafted Lorenzo Carter.
Right.
Giants Pride says Curtis Riley wasn't that bad.
Curtis Riley worst safety in the league.
Was that bad. Look at PFF. He's the lowest graded safety in football. He's a horrible tackler. Curtis Riley was that bad. I want no part of him on the Giants. I'm glad he's not on the roster.
Andy Pachuco says, how long do you think until the Giants make the playoffs again? 2020. I think if everything breaks right for us next year, we have an outside shot because our schedule's easier. But I think 2020 is more realistic for us to get back to the playoffs.
Yes. I think we have to be realistic as fans when you take a look at the roster as it currently stands. And this is why, if I'm Eli Manning, what is Eli coming back? And I love Eli. I love Eli. Yes. Why is he coming back? Is he coming because he is going to get ridiculed by the fans again, and they're not going to compete this year. Why he should either demand a trade to another team or retire. What is the purpose of him coming back this year to go 6-10 again? I don't get it.
I mean,
he's going to get his, money, but
you don't need money.
Yeah, to me, it's not worth the headache. He is going to get destroyed by the fans.
Especially if we go out and draft the Dwayne Haskins, because like you said, if they start off 1-4, if they start off 0-2. We're so impatient right now. We've been losing for so long. It's not even that. Game 1, he throws an interception.
I was going to go further. I was going to say incompletion. Right. The first incompletion, 50% of the Giants fans, get him out. Now,
you're going to hear, we want Haskins.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to hear.
Yeah.
So he set himself up to be ridiculed. Even not that Eli don't care about that. But
one thing I will say, they signed Tanny. Do you think that's any indicator that they may not draft a quarterback? Do you think it's any indicator at all?
No, I don't know. Well, I mean, what's the point of having 3 quarterbacks? I mean, what are they doing with Kyler Lauletta?
Now, what I did read, Lauletta I think is probably going to be cut, but what I did read is they could cut Tanny if they draft a quarterback, but it's interesting that they signed him.
It is interesting that they signed him.
Yeah.
Who knows?
2-year deal. 2-year deal. They're calling for Bert. What's
Bert's
going
right
on,
there.
Joe Lutz? How you doing, buddy?
Bert's there. Bert's looking right at you guys.
Bert's always there. Don't like this negativity I'm hearing about Eli. There's no negativity about Eli. What, if any,
Thank you.
Dilly,
Thanks
Dilly.
so much for the super chat. Dilly. He says the
Dilly.
Bears don't draft. I did not know that, Josh. The Bears don't draft until the third round. What guys stand out to you that'll be there in the third? Need cornerback. I'll be honest with you, Josh. I haven't looked that far into the draft yet. I know Chris has, but
I did a video today on players for the Giants, Josh, on rounds like 3 to 6. I'm not sure if any of them match your team's needs, but there may be some players in the video that you'd be interested in. Off the top of my head, I can't remember everybody that I said. And we're not bashing Eli at all. There's no negativity. It's more so the negativity that he is going to receive from the fan base because he is going to get killed. I mean, I'm not going to kill him. The fans are going to kill him. He's setting himself up to be killed this year. He really is.
Yeah, he is.
I thought this year was bad. Year was bad.
This is the thing. We were not 12-4 last year and got knocked out of the NFC Championship. We were not 10-6 last year. We got knocked out of the NFC Divisional. We did not make it to the Super Bowl. We've won 8 games over the last 2 years, and this team is no closer to being a Super Bowl contender. So what is he coming back for? He's got nothing left to prove. He does not have a great team around him. This team is not going to the Super Bowl. I think anybody that's being realistic about it knows we're not even close to competing for that yet. It doesn't make sense for him to be there. He's not going to – I don't know what he wants to do. I don't know what he's trying to prove. I don't know if he wants to come out there because he wants to continue to play past this year and he wants to show that he can still play.
That might be possible. And maybe he'll make us all look stupid. Maybe Eli will go out there and he'll have the year of his life. I'm not expecting 20 of them, but maybe he'll go out there. Maybe the Giants will fool all of us. Maybe everything will click. They'll win 10 games. They'll make the playoffs, and it'll be kumbaya. You never know.
One can only hope, man. For you say from your lips to God's ears. Let's do it, please. Jesus, you're right over there. You heard him, right? You heard him. Make it happen.
I will say
Jesus.
The schedule is favorable. I will say that.
It definitely is.
That's the one thing we have going for us.
Definitely is.
Dilly Gangrene says, what's going on? Chris said, no, Chris. We'll see. Eli should have retired, I don't know, about 5 years ago. I don't think that's being fair, Thomas Leo.
Well, that's true, Beachhead. I mean, he says you never know about the Super Bowl. God forbid no one still expect the Eagles win. But you guys were a lot closer. You did have a bad year the first year Wentz was there, but you guys were 10-6 a couple years in a row. You had an off year, and then, it all came together for you guys. You made a couple of key additions in Jay Ajayi and Alshon Jeffrey, and it came together for you guys. You guys are a lot closer than we are. We are not close.
And the other thing I will say is that what that Eagle team had is what this Giants team hasn't had for 7 years. They were good in the trenches. They had a great offensive line and a great push up front on the defensive side. The Giants, that is their Achilles heel. And without that, they cannot compete. So maybe they'll address it. Maybe that line. And I expect the offensive line to get better this year. It only makes sense. They're going to have another year of familiarity. You figure Hernandez will get better. I think they're going to add a nice piece to the right side, whether it be free agency or the draft. So the offensive line will certainly be improved. I still think at best it's an average offensive line this year, though.
Yeah. And we'll see. I think what we need to do is make more of a commitment to run the damn ball. You can't have halves where Barkley runs 4 times and you get my rage saying, how do you run him 4 times? We don't need those videos from Baddog. We don't need talking about how I want to punch Pat Shermer in the windpipe and watch him choke to death. We don't need those videos from me this year. Make it consistent. Make a concerted effort to give Saquon 20 to 25 touches a game. And I'm not talking about 11 rushes and 14 catches, okay? Run the ball. It helps your offensive line get in a rhythm. It helps them establish the line of scrimmage. It helps everything out when everything is predicated off the run, and you got the best running back in football.
It sets the tone.
This is a guy who plays behind one of the worst offensive lines in the league and had 2,000 yards from scrimmage.
If you could fix that O-line, if they were the 20, I think they were 21st per PFF this year in terms of blocking, overall blocking. If they could get that in the top 12 this year, could you imagine the year that Barkley can have?
My God,
could you imagine? He is, because we know as Giants fans, we may sound biased. I don't care. He is the best running back in football.
He is.
Period.
I agree.
And if you could provide him with an offensive line, it is going to be terror on the NFL. People will not want to face Saquon Barkley. I'll tell you that right now.
No. Thank you so much for the super chat. Mark Israel says, I need to join. I can't bust on Casterly's hair. I don't have any hair. Yeah, I can't bust on him. But Dilly, my man, thank you so much for the super chat. I'm guessing Mark must have just watched my video on Rip Charlie Casterly.
Mark Israel, by the way, is terrific. That guy is, I don't want to sound like I give favoritism, but one of my best callers on that call-in show. Every time he calls in, I get a laugh. Very knowledgeable. I love Mark Israel. So thank you for tuning in, buddy.
Thank you so much for the super chat, brother. Really do appreciate that very much. So, yeah, my God, thank you so much for the super chat, diehard Giants fan. They're Dilly, my man. Dilly, thank you, of course, for being a sponsor of the channel. I really, really do appreciate that, my man. So, Dilly, brother.
Dilly. All right, good for you, Cushman.
But, yeah, Saquon, man, I can't even imagine a line that opens up a hole for him.
Right. Oh, God. We saw it a few times down the stretch, and we saw what he did. I mean, and Josh should know. Josh, tell me, you're a Bears fan. Tell me how many running backs you saw last year that were able to do to your defense what Saquon Barkley did, and he did it with a one-dimensional offense with a quarterback who could not throw that game, and he pounded the ball down. You throw for $130, $140, whatever it was. I mean, who else in football did that last year against that team? I don't think anybody did.
It was 147, I think. And the turning play of that whole game was that, whatever it was, 3rd and 17 before the half, and he's running around, and I'm sitting there going, will you just go down, stop it, and he gets a first down.
Yes,
I'm sorry. He made it 4th and 3 from midfield, and then the Giants went for it. They got it. They kicked the field goal before the halftime. That turned the whole game around. That single, it might have been 3rd and 20. And
I remember that game. You want to know why I remember the game? That's the game I got obliterated, and I had 3 streams at the same time, and I missed that play because I was so drunk I had to go to the bathroom, and I just assumed that the half was over because it was 3rd and 20. I figured they hand it off, and I come back, they kick a field goal.
John Schmidt says 3rd and 23. So 3rd and 23, he got 20 yards, whatever it was. It was unbelievable. Thank you so much for the super chat. Eagles fan, Dilly. Chris, you remember when you thought I was A. Hamilton?
Yes, he called in and pranked me as he did the "What's up, guys?"
What's up, guys? But yeah, that was amazing what Saquon Barkley was able to do in that game, and to go off for 140 plus against the Bears tells you all you need to know. I mean, I'll remember that stream. I'll never forget that.
Yeah,
because that was the biggest watched stream I ever had as far as viewers in one of my streams. We had 1,096 at one time in there. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy how that thing just exploded. And from that, I got so many good Bears fans that subscribe to my channel. I got so many good Bears fans, so I'll never forget. I tell Josh all the time, I think I got more Bears Shovel members than he has Bears Mod Squad. I love my Bears fans in the chat. They're huge supporters of their channel. They're really good to me. And we play again next year, so it'll be great.
Can't beat it. Baddog, you literally disrespected my name. It's Goatquan.
Sorry, Goatquan. Yes, I'm sorry. Goatquan Barkley.
Safe to say Hopkins is the best. If you're asking about DeAndre Hopkins, I agree with that. I always say that. I think DeAndre Hopkins is the best receiver in the NFL. When you look at what he's done throughout his career with the quarterback caliber talent that he has had, he's continuously put up 1,600, 1,700 yards with guys like Brian Hoyer throwing him the ball and nobody opposite him. I mean, some people say Eli throws Beckham the ball, but at least Beckham has other weapons. Hopkins had no weapons on that team early in his career.
Yeah, definitely not. And he had bad quarterbacks throwing him on top. And Matt Schaub throwing him or whoever.
And Hoyer too.
Yeah. MH, we discussed that. It doesn't even need to be Kyler and Dwayne off the board. If we are looking to get Josh Rosen, we're not going to give up number 6. But if we wanted a quarterback, and like Chris said, we give up a couple of seconds, we could still get a Devin White and get a Josh Rosen. We would do that either way, unless the Giants are absolutely sold on Dwayne Haskins or Kyler Murray and they're not there, and then they say, well, now we're going to look at Josh Rosen, but I don't know.
Who would we want to replace Eli? Draft pick, Thomas. I mean, whether it's in this draft or next draft, no free agents. I've said that from the start. I'm glad the Giants don't seem to be going that route. I think it would have been foolish. You never want to pay top dollar when you could get a guy for a fraction of the cost in the draft, and that you could mold. I mean, does it make sense to buy, when your team is in the state that the Giants are, does it make sense to buy a quarterback when he's 30, and by the time he starts to get good, he's going to be 32, 33 by the time the team's getting good? Wouldn't you rather draft a guy when he's 22 then he's 24, 25 when the team's starting to get good. It just is common sense, in my opinion.
Not to mention, you're paying a free agent. You're paying him a lot of money. You're not paying a rookie quarterback a lot of money.
Triple the cost, at least.
Right, at least triple the cost. Yeah. So, depending on who you're getting. So, Nick Foles is probably going to get... I heard UCF Jaguar call in or whatever. I forgot what he said the numbers were, but...
It's got to be 20.
$20 million.
Yeah.
And at 6, we're repaying $4 million a year. So, it's 5 times the cost.
Yeah. Well, eventually, I think it averages out to about 7, over the course of a rookie contract, because they get incremental raises. But still, 7 as opposed to, or 6.5, 7 as opposed to 20. I mean, you could use that $13 million over the course of those 4 or 5 years on a lot of things.
Yes.
So,
yeah, exactly.
So. But 10:46, so we'll be live for about another 15 minutes. We'll take some questions from the chat. The Giants are probably Dwayne Haskins, but if they don't, they might get that. Yeah, I mean, I think that's where we're at right now. Now, it may not be Devin White. They could like Calais and Farrell. There's a lot of guys they could like. Ed Oliver.
There's another one.
Yeah. Ed Oliver had a great combine. So, I mean, that's another guy. I think he had like a 36-inch vertical leap for a D tackle. That's ridiculous. Yeah. So, there's a bunch of guys, but he is a D tackle, which is kind of a position of strength for us. And there was a beat, by the way. I think you just got somebody join your channel.
Sweet. Thank you so much for hitting that big red button. By the way, anybody new to the channel, yes, hit that thumbs up for me. And please hit that big red button and join my family. I appreciate it. Make sure you go into the description of this video. Click on the link to the Entertainah Talking Sports channel. Check him out. Bang his big red button. Ring that bell for both of us. Join his family over there. And thank you so much for being here, guys. Somebody asked me why I'm not watching my Lakers, because we do the Giants show on Wednesday nights.
Every Wednesday night? Lakers night. And MH said, would I trade Goatquan for the 2? Yes. I mean, it would never happen. But for the first 2 picks in the draft, how could I not take that? I mean,
but it couldn't happen anyway. How can you get 2? They're 2 different teams.
Oh, good point. Yeah. But just in a hypothetical, if you get the first and second overall, yes, I'd trade any player for that. I mean, other than like a supreme quarterback like an Aaron Rodgers in his prime, but
right.
Yes, I'd have to, but it would never happen.
Yeah.
Do you think the Giants are willing to trade up for Haskins?
Better not.
I hope not. They may be, but I hope not. Goatquan says I'm unsubbing. He feels disrespected.
I didn't listen, Goatquan. I didn't say your name wrong that time.
No, I think because I said that I would trade him for the.
No, I know, but
yeah. I mean, I got to be honest. Goatquan's my favorite player ever, but right now, but got to be fair here. I mean. John Schmidt, it needs to be... Yes, it does. Let's get this draft going. Now, the free agency is not going to be that exciting for the Giants, unfortunately, but the draft is going to... I mean, 10, 11 picks, Baddog. How much fun is that going to be?
And that number 6 pick is going to be the big one.
Yeah.
So, my hope is Arizona's full of hubbubaloo and smoke, and they don't take Murray, and he's there. Just to see if the Giants, because my reaction for it would be legendary if he ever fell to us and the Giants took him. Now I really don't see that happening, but I'm telling you, the more I watched that combine, the more I came out of it, even more so than a quarterback saying Devin White. That's all I kept thinking after that combine was that. I think he impressed me more than.
What about Sweat?
I don't know if I like Sweat. He was very. I mean, he ran what, a 4.41?
Yeah.
So as but I don't know if I want him at 6. If we could trade down to 10 with I don't know why Denver would trade up, but if we could trade down and
11,
get him,
the Bengals 11.
Yeah, we could trade.
Yeah, get a quarterback. But the thing with Sweat, everything I've read, supreme athlete. And he definitely has a lot. May have probably the highest ceiling of any defensive player in this draft outside of the top 3. But everything I've read, he's still raw. Like, he's not technically sound as some of the other prospects.
What kind of season is Barkley going to have? I think he can be better than... I think we're going to improve our offensive line. I think he'll be better than he was last year. I think he can be better than he was last... I think Barkley... He's probably going to end up playing on a losing team, unfortunately, because everything's going to have to break right for the Giants to... But say the Giants win a couple close games and they end up 10-6... Barkley could have an MVP-type season.
Oh, yeah.
I honestly believe that. I think he's got the talent to do it.
But as far as I'm concerned, Barkley is one of the top 5 players in the league. I mean, that's how good that guy is. I don't care that he's a running back. He's that good. I mean, he's an MVP candidate every year if he can make the playoffs. That's how good that guy is.
Yeah, he could absolutely be amazing.
Yeah.
I really do.
Say sorry, Chris. I'm sorry, Goat Quan.
Yes, Goat Quan. Sorry. Do you think that Barkley could break? A lot would have to go right for him, Caesar, and he would need a lot of carries to break that record. 2,105 yards is, what is that, 120 on average?
And in today's game, he's much more likely to break the scrimmage record, whatever that is. In today's game, him specifically, does a lot of his damage from receiving the ball. So I could definitely, I don't know what the record is. I think it's about
2,105.
No, scrimmage.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think it's probably around 2,400. And I could see him potentially breaking that record in a season for sure. I could see him getting like 900 yards receiving, 1,500 yards rushing in a year, something like that.
That could definitely happen.
Yeah.
Chrissy Dore says, should the Giants draft the kicker or punter?
He loves punters. Yeah, and he should be a Jets fan because remember the Jets took, I think it was a punter or was it a kicker? I think it was a kicker with their first pick one year. In the second round, they didn't have a first-round pick. They took a kicker with their second-round pick, I think.
Who is this?
The Jets.
Oh, that makes sense.
I can't remember when it was, maybe like 10, 12 years ago. It was when they were good, and they thought that their biggest need was a kicker, I think, and they drafted a kicker in the second round.
QC says, Baddog need to get in line with you sometimes in a hangout. Oh, absolutely, QC, without a doubt. I thought we were in a hangout together. Maybe I just missed you. Maybe you were in the chat when I was in the hangout. But definitely would love to get in a hangout with you sometime.
Who was that?
QC.
Oh, QC. Yeah, for sure, man. I know I'm right. They took a kicker. I'm not dumb.
There you go. Second the 80 says Chris Johnson has the record, 2,509 yards.
Yeah, so I knew it was right around there. That was, of course, Chris Johnson's second year, the year where he had that huge year, and then I wasted
CJ2K.
Who's here?
CJ2K.
Oh, CJ2K.
Because he rushed for 2,000 yards.
Okay. Yeah, I remember I wasted my first overall fantasy pick on that bum the next year when he was a complete bust after that.
Oh, Chris Johnson?
Yeah, I remember that year. It was a fluky year because I think you had like 16 or 17 touchdowns and like 9 or 10 of them were on runs of over 50 yards.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was something crazy.
John Stone says Landon Collins is braiding his damn hair right now, probably.
Ed Oliver could have easily be the best. I agree with that.
I agree.
He could be. Ligman, I mean, his upside is through the roof. People compare him to Aaron Donald for a reason, not just because of the same size. He's ultra athletic, much like Aaron Donald. I still like Quinnen Williams the most, not just at the D tackle spot of any player in this draft. Very impressive at the combine. I liked him before that.
Yeah. Michael Matsko says, "What big move can the Giants should make to get cap space? If we trade Vernon, we save $11 million, and that's probably the biggest thing we could do. Or Eli has to restructure his contract. Those are like the only things we're really going to do to save a lot of cap space, and that's it. We're not in a good spot with the cap. MH says, well, punters are better than Kyler Murray. MH loves Kyler Murray.
Joey Bosa, by the way, Caesar. I would take Joey over Nick.
And then JF, no, March 28th, JF, I got to work. I'm working during opening day, so unfortunately I can't stream it. Probably that Saturday I will stream that game, the second game, but I can't just take work off to watch the Yankees, unfortunately.
Anthony Davis, if they could ever get Clay and Farrell in the second round, you're gonna see me strip naked during that draft night because that would be the steal of the draft. I would be shocked if Clay and Farrell, and I know we didn't have the greatest combine in the world, but he belongs nowhere near where the Giants are picking in the second round. But that would be amazing if they could address the pass rush. Imagine this. Imagine if we somehow trade for Rosen without giving up this year's second round pick. We say we give up a third, and then next year, whatever it is. Say we were able to retain our second and first this year. We get Devin White, and then we get Calais and Farrell and Josh Rosen.
Well, if you got those three, then we're going to the playoffs.
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah.
We are. I mean, we're going. If that dream scenario, we're going to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because then you'd have an incredibly young line.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, because you'd have Lorenzo Carter, you'd have B.J. Hill, you'd have
Devin
White. So your linebacker, plus you'd get rid of Ogletree at that point. So you're saving $7 million there. And if you take Farrell, maybe you dump Olivier Vernon. So then you save $11 million there. So all of a sudden you free up $18 million in cap space, and you got replacements for him for nothing.
Right.
So that is an abs, and you got a quarterback that's making nothing as well.
Yeah, that's very far-fetched, but just imagine.
Scenario.
Yeah, just imagine.
I might strip naked if that happens.
Jalen Ferguson in the second round that is likely. Jalen Ferguson in the second round is likely. That would be a good pick. Is Odell Beckham a Moss god or not? He does have. I mean, it's a little different, but I do enjoy the Moss.
Yeah, but he did cut his moss. He mowed his moss. I don't know if it grew back, but he definitely cut his hair. We just never saw it.
I think Joe Musa said he was leaving. If he's still here, have a good night. Joe Musa didn't see it.
No, he said, just saying what's up, guys. Have to wake up early tomorrow. Joe Musa, thank you for everything you do. Really do appreciate it, my man. Joe Musa, great subscriber. He does all those Entertainah, the greatest hits videos.
Oh, my God, yeah.
He will be ready to edit on Friday, no doubt.
Yes.
He does a great job.
Yes, and Joe, anytime you want to put that link in either one of these streams, by all means, because it deserves a lot more subscribers than it has. The work that he puts in there for my channel, I can never thank him enough for that. It's just fun for me to watch that back, so I really appreciate that, Joe, so thank you.
Yeah.
Do we like Josh Rosen? No. I don't hate him as much as Baddog does. I see under the right deal, he makes sense, but it's got to be the right deal.
Yeah, it's got to be the right deal.
Yeah.
I know it's not even his talent, it's his attitude that I worry about. Can Josh Rosen succeed getting bashed in New York? Because it doesn't matter how good you are. You have a couple bad games, they're going to be on you. It's just the way the New York media is.
That's what I worry about him more than anything else. I think he has the physical tools.
Right.
And he's actually he's the type of quarterback I like. He's a pocket passer with mobility. He can move around. He's got a strong arm. But that's why I didn't want him on draft night, because of what Bad Dog's saying. I don't think he's meant for the New York media. But you know, sometimes that stuff's overrated. Maybe he comes here and proves me wrong. I mean, for that price that I brought up, he's probably worth the shot.
Yeah. So, again, I mean, like I said, I know he can succeed. He's got a good arm. And, again, he's got talent. He wouldn't have went top 10 overall. He wouldn't have been projected to go number 1 by some, mock draft analysts. He's got talent. And he wouldn't cost anything. But I just worry about, again, I mean, you see the beating Eli Manning takes from fans. You see the beating he takes from the media. Can Josh Rosen, can his ego handle it? That's what I'm worried about, One
other thing I wanted to bring up real quick before we close this out, and Playboy just joined in. We're about to leave soon, Playboy, but we always appreciate you ever coming in.
Yes, Playboy is the man.
So thank you for coming in. But I wanted to touch on Eric Weddle real quick. I think he's an affordable. I did a quick video on him last night. I think he's an affordable option at the safety position, but he's obviously up there in age.
He's old.
Yeah, he's gonna be 34 next year. Do you entertain that at all if it's a cost-effective contract?
I mean, it could happen. I mean, he's probably just gonna be holding a place for somebody anyway.
Right. Yeah. No. He's a
so that's what Weddle would be. Amos, if we sign Amos, obviously would be for the future. Weddle is just kind of holding a place for another safety.
Right.
So I mean, if it's a 2-year deal and it's $18 million.
Oh, it wouldn't be that much. It wouldn't be that much. They just cut him for $6.5.
Okay. So if it's 2 years, $10 million, or 3 years, $15 million.
2 for $10. That's what I'd be looking at. I would entertain 2 for $10.
Yeah. How much more simple would this be if Herbert entered the draft? Yeah, I like Herbert a lot. I think Herbert is going to benefit from another year at Oregon. I don't think he was ready for the NFL. I think another year at Oregon will definitely benefit Justin Herbert. And I think, honestly, Tua's going to be great. I just worry about Tua's durability. That guy's always injured. That guy's always got some kind of problem going on. And I like Justin Herbert because, like you said about Rosen, Herbert's a big-arm quarterback, a tall guy, a pocket passer with mobility.
Right.
So I like Justin Herbert. And I think that he will benefit from another year at Oregon. So,
I like Herbert too.
But this year's draft, I don't know. I don't know how much better Herbert is than Kyler Murray or Dwayne Haskins. I don't know if he's that much better where it would be like definitely make it that much easier for us.
I'm just shocked he didn't come out this year because he would have been a top 5 pick, more than likely. And it would have been more beneficial to the Giants. Even if they weren't going quarterback, that's one more quarterback to throw in the ring and a better defensive player slips to you. So
Eric Metzger Giants says Murray seems like he has a bad attitude and you love him. Tell me why his attitude's bad. Tell me what's bad about his attitude. I want to know because I want to know guys that don't watch Kyler Murray every week. I want to know what makes you, besides what you hear in the media. Why is he? Because he didn't partake in the combine? Because he wasn't running at 207?
I don't want to interrupt. We're going to have to close this out in 2 minutes, but you could do this real quick to Kyler Murray. The thing with Kyler Murray, maybe what he's hinting at is that he didn't participate in the combine. That's what I'm assuming it is.
Right. So I'm just curious what his bad attitude is. Because if you listen to him talk about it, they asked him point blank, will you be disappointed if you're not the first overall quarterback in this draft? Now, Josh Rosen would have said yes. Obviously, he thought he was the best. Kyler Murray said, I don't care where I'm drafted. I don't care if he goes, I'm not worried about that. Wherever I get picked, I'll be excited to play. That's what you want to hear from the kid. You don't want to hear about, yes, I should be the number one overall pick. I'm just excited to be drafted by a team. Just like they asked him about being with the Giants, he said we could be very dangerous, and I would love to play there, but I don't pick where I'm going.
Right.
So.
Right. Entertainah Dog is supposed to be yes, Stuck in the 80s. Your channel tomorrow night. I will promote that tomorrow in my community notes. 9:45. I will be on Stuck in the 80s channel. We'll be talking movies. Top 80s and 90s movies. Love that guy. Looking forward to going on over there. So if you want to have a good time, it's not going to be sports, but go over there. Check out his channel. Join him up. He put great work over there. And you won't want to miss it. So tune in for that stream. That'll be a lot of fun.
Yes, he's fantastic. Love Stuck in the 80s.
Yes.
Stuck in the 80s was the winner of the 6K giveaway, too.
Yes, and with that, we are going to close it out. It's getting late. Got work tomorrow, but we will be back on Baddog's channel Friday night.
That you don't want to miss.
Yes, that you will not want to miss.
Hardcore 4.
Hardcore 4 this week, absolutely. And this was a great show. Straight Giants talk throughout. You can't beat that. But had a blast coming on here. Always do. Next week, of course, the Giants segment will be on my channel. Hardcore 4. You know, it's a nonsense stream if you're new to our channels. It has nothing to do with sports. We just have fun.
It's completely nonsense.
Yeah, that's why we call it.
And I got a couple good stories. I got some road rage stories, so you want to tune in for that.
You want to tune in for that?
The road rage stories are always good.
But we're going to save that for Friday. And Bad Dog, of course, I'm going to let you close it out.
Yes, guys. Again, we had a really great crowd tonight. Really appreciate all your support. You guys were fantastic tonight. Thank you for everything. Thank you for blowing the stream up tonight. It was awesome. Really appreciate your input. And we'll see you next time, guys. So you all have a good night. And until then, we are out. Peace!